Hello, I'm
MenothJohn.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here.
Well, there are no limits here, but we hope that there's no limit to our technologies here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the new high-definition version of Painting with MenothJohn. I am MenothJohn, and you are looking at someone who needs a shave. You know, I think, John, that the fact that I'm going HD now on the face cam can only result in less viewers.
Really? Why is that?
This is rough. I mean, God, you can see every damn pore and wrinkle on this weathered-ass face of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your Sunday Night Addiction, and I am MenothJohn, and joining me halfway across the universe, or in Maryland, one of the two, I have the co-host with the host, Mr. John Spencer. Say hello to the Brushheads.
Hey, Brushheads.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, things have certainly taken a swing for the different here at Painting with MenothJohn. We are utilizing all of the technologies that Bill Gates invented called Windows. Have you heard of this Windows, John?
Yes, I've been using it for a long, long time.
Well, I've been using the Macintosh because I like apples and also pears. And I thought that, you know, since fruit's good for you, that I would go ahead and use fruit-based technology. As it turns out, this Windows, all these fancy Windows of the future, appear to have a lot of good things. I'm sweating like a pig. I should have turned on the ventilation system here before we got too far along the lines. I am excited, John.
What are you excited for?
I'm excited about all this technology and the fact that we are still streaming at 30 frames a second, and no one's telling me that that everything sucks. So that is, yeah, maybe, yes. Well, it's high def. It may not be great. That's really good. Okay, so, John, we have a few announcements.
We do.
Yes. First off, we have a shout-out that I would like to give to Jeremy of the Crippled System podcast. I want to dedicate our beverage update for today's show. John, what are you having for your beverage today?
My old standby. I've got a shot of Kraken and then the cherry Dr. Pepper and cherry whiskey mix.
It's a classic. I'm not sure why you would mess with a classic. And,
I don't.
And right here you can see on the high-definition cam, ooh, scary. Ooh, scary. We have Kraken. So on behalf of Mr. John Spencer, here's to Jeremy from Crippled System for shouting out that I get more entertaining the more I drink on my podcast. So, hey, Ron.
Ron.
Yeah, we had a comment here that they like seeing you in the corner. Now, nobody puts John Spencer in the corner except me. Except me. And here he is. He's right here. I'm shoving my finger in you now, and I know you can't see it, but that doesn't sound right. Anyhow, we have there's a small convention coming up here in a couple of weeks, John.
Yeah, a tiny one.
Mm-hmm. Some would say it's the U.S. Championships of Warmachine. Privateer would probably disagree with that statement, but we have a little thing called Warmachine Weekend coming up.
Indeed.
There
Let's
we
release
go.
the brackets for the Invitational, too.
You know, we were kicking around the idea of perhaps doing some bracketology, but I put my head together with the co-host, and we kind of decided against it. Probably every other goddarn podcast from here until who knows where is going to be doing that, so we decided that we're going to shun that. John, I can't get enough of this high-definition camera. I just keep like putting my hand in it. It's like 3D for all the viewers.
It's a pretty good picture.
It's not bad.
Good.
It's not bad. I'm just as ugly as everybody thought I was going to be. So that's coming up, and we are having a little bit of a celebration of Warmachine Weekend next week on the show, John.
Yeah, we're going to have Cool Kurt on.
Absolutely. Formerly of the Springfield Meta, now of the greater St. Louis area. And he is our spirit animal when it comes to the brackets. I would like to formally endorse Kurt for the Warmachine Weekend Championship. Are you on board with that formal endorsement, John?
Sure.
Yeah. See, that's what makes a great show, John. We are in alignment. We are cohesive.
Absolutely.
We're cohesive. And so I'll have him on here. We're going to talk gummy bear recipes. I've already, I think, conceded. I don't think there's any chance that I'm going to make any gummy bears in time. But he makes some darn good ones, and I'm sure that he'll be happy to share his gummy bear knowledge with all of the brushheads.
Excellent. I think some of the locals could use that recipe.
The question is whether or not I will be there, and the answer to that is yes. And I will have my sobriety attachment with me. I will, the Lich Lord Charles, formerly Lich Lord Charles, the now Troll Charles, will be there for at least part of the weekend. So I will have my sobriety attachment with me for some of the activities. So you'll get a chance to meet the brown-haired kid, as I like to refer to him. Let's see what else we have on the list here. We have a big deal coming this week, John, in the continuing effort to make this show a little bit less of a loss leader.
Yeah, that's right, the Teespring.
That's right. We've got another Teespring coming out. Hopefully this goes better than the shot glasses. It for sure can't lose money like the shot glasses have. And we have, for those of you who joined the pre-ramble, you got to see the artwork that will be on the shirt. If I wasn't such an idiot, I would have put I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw that up there on the screen so everybody can see it. There you have it. That is going to be the part with the painting with MenothJohn will begin at 7 p.m. Central will not be on the shirt. But the rest of it will be, and that'll be on the front. So you can have a grayscale version of my amazing face along with the Podfather logo. And then on the back, it will have a new style red version of the Brushhead logo. So that'll be starting up. Check your Painting with MenothJohn Facebook site if you would like to get a link to the Teespring. I think it's the best shirt we've done so far, John.
Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. I'm still a fan of the first one. The classic logo is always good, but this one's very, very good too.
Yeah, the first one was really good. I think it sold very well too, and I think that everybody kind of likes the Brushhead logo. This, of course, takes the inspiration from Chain Attack, giving me the title of Podfather. For some reason, I'm going to turn this. Hey, look at that. That's better. Now it's not like you're looking up my nose quite so hard. So hopefully, we'll get those links out. And I'm keeping the prices low for the Brushheads. We're keeping it down to $18 for the T-shirt. They had some ridiculous recommendation of like $28, and I'm like, no. I mean,
that's a lot of money.
I mean, I'm awesome and stuff, and my face on a T-shirt, you can't get better than that. But $28 seems a lot, so we're gonna go with 18. And it's not going to make quite as much money, but I'd rather put it more in reach from a dollar standpoint for more of the Brushheads. So you can have that Brushhead pride out there. So let's see, what else we got to talk about? Hey, John, I started another podcast.
Yeah, I heard that. You started reading The Princess of Mars? Is that the first book in that series?
That's right. We're calling it Storytime with MenothJohn. It is the first book in the Barsoom novels by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And
Rice Burroughs, yeah.
Hey, now your face has been replaced with Venice on the stream.
What?
Somehow, there you go. Now you're back. I don't know what just happened, but your face turned into Venice for a second.
I'm fooling with my webcam.
Okay. Well, that was cool. And it gave me that moment of zen that I needed right then, John. It was amazing.
Trying to get it more centered on me.
That's cool. And somehow Venice made your face more centered. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's crazy.
That's technology, man. It's all good.
Yep.
We're doing way too good for being the first time on the new rig. So God, knock on wood. Anyway, so yeah, it's called Storytime with MenothJohn. We're going to release one chapter a week. It is on the same RSS feed as the Painting with MenothJohn. So if you're on the iTunes, you can subscribe to it on iTunes by looking up Painting with MenothJohn. And I'm kicking around the idea of doing a Patreon. And if I do that, then I may move the story times to its own RSS feed, just so that if you want to listen to multiple chapters in a row, you don't end up with like a Painting with MenothJohn smack in the middle of your enjoyment of A Princess of Mars. So we'll see how that works out. I ran out of time this weekend to do the video for the Patreon.
Yeah, I've seen Patreon a couple times. I haven't done a lot of looking into it, but I've seen it around. A couple of the webcomics and other people, YouTube video guys, and I'll do a little bit of that.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what Patreon is it's a service that it's like an internet tip jar. So you can pledge to like 5 cents for everything that I throw up on the internet. I guess me throwing up on the internet is worth 5 cents maybe. And so that's what you got going for you on the Patreon. And we're looking at possibly doing that here to support the if I do a Patreon, the first unlock that we do is it gets its own RSS feed, and then I'll move everything over to that RSS feed so that we have it's easy to listen to. So, hey John, you know what we haven't done in a long, long time?
Oh, there's a list. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start off with Deep Thoughts with John Spencer, and while I switch over to the painting cam and start doing some basing on my boom howlers.
All right. Well, this weekend I ran a team tournament at Drop Zone Games. We had 7 teams signed up, and I was able to arrange for a ringer team to show up last minute. So we had 8 teams, which is good because that's the most we can fit in the store right now. We had those black felt things we put on the side of the table to make the 6-foot into a 4x4.
Yep, those things are rocking.
We put two next to each other on the 2 tables and put a 4x4 in the middle, so the whole team was playing in a row there. So it was kind of cool. We ran it kind of easy. We didn't do any of the team feed or anything crazy like that, which we'll do next time.
What format did you go with? What format did you go with? Was everybody playing their individual game, or was there 2 people on the same
playing
team?
their individual game.
Okay, I like that format.
It didn't feel a lot like a team thing because there's no real team interaction, which was fair. But first time, I just wanted to make sure we had enough people.
That's fair.
Which was good, getting 8 people. If we'd actually had people, a little more time, a little more free, would have had 8 teams straight up. So that's good.
And how'd it go for you there, buddy?
It went pretty well. Ran quick. I do love me some Death Clock. We've got enough Death Clocks for 24 people to play, so that's pretty
terrific.
good.
That's terrific.
Yeah, and it means that you can really control the time. So I was able to get in, run the tournament, gave everyone a lunch break, unlike Hacksaw. Oof. Ever been in a Hacksaw tournament with a lunch break? That's rough.
Nope, and I'll tell you what, that guy's serious business.
Yeah, I mean, it gets done. Boom, 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 but we like our lunch breaks because we got the good barbecue place down the road.
Nice.
We did that. We were done in time to take the whole crew that goes there down to El Marchel's for our bi-weekly role playing. But in fact, I'm gonna do some quick thoughts on that before I go back and some quick thoughts from the tournament.
Sure. Go ahead, man.
Don't drink before you start role playing. Just trust me. Oh. It got interesting. Let's just say that. I don't think got much done, but it was a hilarious time.
That's a good, solid piece of advice you got there, John.
Yeah, I started off. I'm like, I'll just grab a beer, and then the store owner, who's one of our role players, had brought this nice case with a box of with some, God, was that some horrible liquid? I think it was supposed to be vodka, and or tequila. I don't really remember, honestly. It was horrific. It smelled like donkey balls, and it tasted worse.
Maybe it was Donkey Balls tequila. You never know. You can't tell what they're going to put in that stuff down south of the border. They don't have the FDA.
Oh my God, it was bad. I took a shot and I was like, oh, that's horrible. I need to do something else. So then Marshall shared his apple pie moonshine with me.
Ah, yeah.
And about that point, I realized this is probably not the best idea in the universe since I'd already finished a beer and I went back for a second one. So
Ruh-roh.
it was a hilarious time. But so there's the first thought: don't drink so much before role playing. You won't get much done. You will have a good time though. And then back to the tournament. This is gonna be a little in depth here.
We like in depth. We really don't have much to talk about today, so in depth is awesome.
So as a funny note, we had 3 press gangers in attendance. None of them were running the tournament.
How many of them will take credit for it though, and get points for it?
Only if I give them the sheets. I've got them with me, but I do that occasionally. But it was a good time. I like to let those guys get to play. But in round 1, a press ganger was Double Squid was playing against another local guy, and he's like, "Oh, you get to dominate on both players' turn." And then the other press ganger, who will remain nameless as to not shame him because everyone makes mistakes, goes like, "No, you only dominate on your own turn." And Double Squid, being the good guy, is like, "Okay, that guy's a press ganger. I respect him. Of course he's right."
Nope.
No, he's totally wrong.
Yep.
And apparently that would have given the Squid the win in that game, which would have given his team the win round 1. Spoiler alert, the team they would have beaten was the team that ended up winning it all.
Oh.
So, it happens.
Yep, it happens.
So there's your first lesson. Don't ask another player. Ask the tournament director for the ruling, because if he gets it wrong, well, you're stuck with it because he's the tournament director.
Yeah, that's a sage piece of advice you got there, John. Come on,
here's
Squid.
one for tournament directors. Don't now. Same press ganger involved. I didn't know what they were discussing, but I walked through one of the locals who's fairly new, and him talking, and they're talking about the order. Box disabled, destroyed, disabled, box destroyed. Whichever order it goes in.
DBD.
And exactly. And I'm like, I'm not 100% sure. And the press ganger had the book out. He's like, oh, no, it's this way. And I'm like, well, he's got the book out. Obviously, he's right. No, somehow he got it wrong straight out of the book.
Wait, how do you get something wrong with the book open?
Looking at the way it's worded in the book, if you skim it, you could get it wrong. I can actually see that.
Okay. God, I wish you'd tell me.
It didn't affect the game. I was talking to the guy, but the second lesson is check yourself. Don't just let them check. Or if you do let them check, double check it from their book when they got it open.
That is such good advice because, as Ali G told us, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Exactly. So, despite those little things, that one didn't affect the game at all. But those my little notes. Boy, it was a good time. I got to see a little bit of some guys playing. We had some guys who don't normally get down to the store come down and play, which is good. The winning team was Trolls, Scorn, and I don't even know what the third player was playing.
Because after the double armor, after the first double armor skew, after the second major armor skew, it didn't really matter who the third person was playing.
Actually, no, it was because it was Calandra and Jarl for the troll player. And then I think the Scorn player only brought a single list, which is probably Makeda 2, probably, because he's... Here's the funny thing, he's actually like a mathematician, so he's all about the numbers. And, he's one of those guys, originally we're like, oh, I don't like this guy, but he's been making an effort, and he's perfectly fine now.
Super sweet. Got to give people...
they did that, and they had...
Got to give people a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly... he took the time to ask, hey, what do you guys think? And, we've told him truthfully, and he's made an effort. I mean, he's trying.
Man, that's cool. That's cool.
So, yeah, it was a good time. We had I'm not going to say we had a wide variety of players. We had, 3 mercenary players and 3 or 4 Scorn players. And
wow.
I would say we had a ton of Circle. There were, 4 Circle players. But, honestly, one of the teams was entirely Circle, so that happens.
That's cute.
That was one of the locals. That was Banyan, Bowie, and then Eagles fan. and they were the Circle Jerks.
One of my favorite punk bands from the 80s, by the way. Just saying, I was going to put that out there.
Fair enough.
With their
so there you go, ran pretty good.
Their big album was, of course, Golden Shower of Hits.
Fair enough. Cool. Oh, puns everywhere.
I'm not making it up. That actually was a real album, and that's what its real name was.
I believe you're not making it up. That's what makes me sigh a little more. But bands like to be witty like that. So
cheeky, if
it was a good time.
Yep.
And one more tip is if you're using War Room, be careful to make sure every time you take damage you commit it. Because one of the guys was doing it. I was stopped because I wanted to see a storm wall get blown off the table. Because I knew it was going to happen. And at one point he didn't hit commit. I mean, luckily I was there to tell him that he didn't, or he might have not taken, 7 or 8 damage, which would have been bad, and might have let the storm wall live.
Yep, that's a big deal. That commit button is clutch.
So, and you have to be double careful with it because your opponent can't see what you're doing.
Yep.
Which is probably the only real problem with using War Room for stuff like that is your opponent can't see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he's going to trust you, but if you make a mistake, it's going to be devastating.
Yeah, for tournaments, John, I tend to shy away a little bit from using the War Room. I understand it's a nice tool. Hell, it's come a hell of a long way from back in its early days, but I do tend to go back to the cards when I'm playing in an event, just kind of for almost that reason.
Yeah. And then the most impressive moment was one of the newer players who's only played like maybe a dozen games-ish or so, and this is his first time on the clock.
Yep.
At the end of the game, in an effort to win the game, which he had a fair chance of, he took 2 almost completely legal fast turns in a minute and 30 seconds.
Wow, awesome.
Like, the only thing he didn't do, he charged something with one guy. He rolled damage, says it doesn't do any damage, when really it did damage and he would have had to, figure it out and then pass it over, so it would have taken him a little extra time. But that brings me to the last thing, which is, time at the end of the game. One guy was taking his turn, hadn't quite killed Balder, but put him on fire. He activated everything, passed the time over. He's got like 30 seconds left, maybe.
Yep.
And, basically at this point he was just seeing if he killed Balder, which is what he should have done. He didn't kill Balder, so since it was the last game, the only one not to finish up, I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to call it here because you can't win. And really, you should, as a player, you should be thinking of that. 30 seconds, you can't do anything meaningful as a Hordes player in 30 seconds.
Oh, no way.
Because to actively reave all your fury out and take care of, because he went all out, and take care of all of your frenzies, it's going to take more than that. None of them were going to attack Balder. He didn't die to fire. Shake hands, let everyone go home.
Yep, exactly.
That's not to say to give up, but have a firm mind when you don't have enough time to do anything.
Yeah.
Now, if you're pretty sure you do, like if you're a Warmachine player and you got 30 seconds, that's a chip in a chair. You have time to allocate some focus, maybe take a range attack or something.
Yep, you could probably get in one range attack or one melee attack.
Yeah, if you think you can get something done, do it. But if not, try and think about that. Be the good sportsman. Don't play a sloppy turn because you got no time. If you're really certain, because you can look at a clock, you can know, like, I'm not going to get anything done.
Yep,
or even, if you're that into the tournament scene or want to do it, try it out. Get a clock, see how long it takes you to do some activations.
Yeah, I need to
maybe you can get it down to a good time. Maybe you can be like, no, because if he'd said, no, I think I can do it, I've been like, do your thing.
Yep, absolutely.
But that was my suggestion.
I need to get, if I ever bring back Brunch Machine, and I'm trying hard to bring it back for the brush heads and for myself, so I can get in more than one game every 2 weeks. I'm thinking about getting a chess clock for the Casa John here, and then rigging it up so that we can watch it. Now that I've got a 2-camera rig, I can probably train one of my 2 cameras on the death clock, and then run the other camera as the action cam. So we'll see here.
A good thing would be to get a dice tray also, and have the one camera on the death clock and the dice tray,
Ooh.
and have both you roll your dice in a tray so they can see everything there.
Man, I like that suggestion. I like that suggestion a lot. So I think we'll probably do that. When we come back with the brunch machine, we'll definitely do that. We'll get ourselves a nice little tray, and then we'll set it up. I got a nice little rig set up here now, and with the 2 cameras, with the HD, I think that we've got a chance to do something kind of fun. So.
And for anyone looking for a good chess clock, I suggest the DGT Easy Game Timer. It's so easy to set, so easy to use, and pretty competitively priced.
Sounds like
It's
an
on
easy
Amazon
bake oven.
all the time.
Sounds like an easy bake oven.
Almost, except instead of baking stuff, it just times stuff.
There you go.
That's close.
Boom.
All right, and one more thing before I let you get on to another segment we haven't had in a while.
I know, right?
I'm actually do a quick update on the ASEAN Challenge, which I have been kind of updating on the Mom forums. I haven't done an update in a week or so because I haven't really gotten any games in. But I'm about 11 games in with ASEAN, and I think I'm getting about to the point where I'm feel comfortable enough to move on to another caster. So you might have me getting another challenge from Cindervale soon.
Nice.
And I feel pretty confident he's been doing pretty good for me. Take a look on the Mom forums, read the thread, post some thoughts if you want, and I'll probably update that tonight or tomorrow with
cool.
Not quite final thoughts, but getting close to final thoughts.
Do you want to do a wrap up on the show at some point, John, or do you want to just kind of leave it for the forums?
No, I'll do a wrap up on the show because obviously at that point he'll challenge me and I'll want to announce that, and that'll give me just double team that in the same segment.
That sounds fantastic. We will plan on that perhaps next week.
Maybe not next week. I might let it go for a couple more weeks.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, I'll tell you what, buddy. You let me know when you're ready to do it, and that's when we'll do it. Not a minute earlier.
Absolutely. And I'm probably gonna run Rhett to the end of the year, at least through the spell draft we're gonna run in November, because Ron is playing some spell draft because that's his shit.
Hey, did you just say Ron? Hey, Ron!
I did. All right. So, John, do you have a list that you like?
I do have a list that I like. But before we do that, I think it's time to have a word from our sponsor.
Oh, crap.
Here
comes a sponsor.
We have a very, very special spokesmodel here from Discount Games Incorporated. You love to hate him. He might be the most reviled model in the entire troll lineup. Here he is for Discount Games Incorporated, Mountain King. All right, so here, listen. I'm here to tell you all about Discount Games Incorporated. Look what this asshole MenothJohn did to me. I'm blue and pink, for Christ's sakes. What you need to do is you need to go to Discount Games Incorporated and buy a Mountain King. Because somebody oughta. And don't paint him blue and pink. Whatever you do. This is very humiliating. But I'm going to tell you what. You know what's more humiliating? Paying big dollars for your models anywhere else other than your local game store, which you should be supporting. But if you're not going to support them because they're jerks, or you don't have a local game store, I highly suggest tell them the Pink Mountain King sent you. I don't have a name yet. He hasn't named me. But for now, I'm the Pink Mountain King. If you put in your comments to Jay at Discount Games Incorporated that the Pink Mountain King sent you, he'll know it was seen only here on the Painting with MenothJohn show. So get over there to Discount Games Incorporated. It doesn't suck. And they have free shipping if you buy me, because it's the least they could do. So there you go. Suck it. All right, so there you go. We had our sponsor, our spokesmodel there, the Mountain King, the Pink Mountain King, encouraging each and every one of you to get over there to Discount Games Incorporated and show your fealty to the Painting with MenothJohn show by purchasing $50 or more, so you can bank in on that free shipping. John, were you aware that the Mountain King costs more than $50?
I was.
Are you aware of the fact that it's not worth $50?
Oh, I beg to differ. That is,
yeah, well,
in my opinion, the coolest gargantuan they have. So
true.
I think it's worth much more than $50.
Yeah, and if you get a discount, the kind of discount that Jay gives you at Discount Games, this thing's reversed, so I'm trying to point at the logo at Discount Games Incorporated, right there in the corner. It's a deal at twice the price, really, and it's no Siege Animatrix. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's no Siege Animatrix, because I'll tell you what, Doomy 1 can make him do some fun stuff. Now, you had mentioned that we were going to do a list that I like, and I'm going to do a list that I like, and I'm going to try something new here, folks. We're going to try and put this on the painting cam. Because of the high definition, you'll now be able to see my list actually as it appears on War Room. So this is a list that I like, that has nothing to do with the Mountain King. Hey, what do you mean it has nothing to do with the Mountain King? I'm Pink Mountain King, goddammit. And so, wait, stop over there. We don't need you anymore. We did our sponsorship. So, as you can see here at the top, we have Madrak Ironhide World Ender. That's Epic Madrak. This is a list that I played at Gametown against Brian Culp, and it went very well. He beat me, but this is a fun list, and we're very encouraging of fun lists. So we got Madrak 2, a.k.a. Skildrak. We have the Rune Bearer, who exists to hand out Blood Fury either on the first turn or at a later turn to move it over to a different unit. We have the Impaler, because a sniped Madrak axe is a good axe. In the game that I played with Brian Culp, this Pyre Troll was indeed a Storm Troll. I have upgraded him to a Pyre Troll because I think that having another +2 damage, if you have to go man mode with Madrak 2, is worth its points. Then we have 2 Fell Callers. We have the Stone Scribe Chronicler, a.k.a. the Chronic. You know, that's what the kids these days call that stuff, the Mary Jane, the marijuana. They call it the Chronic, these kids today with their rock and roll music. And then they have a Fenblade Kithkar. We have a full unit of the stones with the Stone Scribe Elder. Now I'm going to use my... Look at this technology, John. I'm using my finger to scroll with. They call this a touch screen. This is part of the new technology bend we have here. Yes, this is a touch screen. And it's kind of like Magic, but it's different. So these are Creel Warriors, and I have a full boat of Creel Warriors with the Standard and Piper, and we have 2 Caber Throwers, and then we have a unit of Warders. And this list is just a big old party, because if you're going to get attacked by some melee stuff, you put the Chronic on it. The Chronic's over here. Watch the finger. And he puts the Hero's Tragedy on them. And then if you kill one of those Fenblades with a melee attack, boom, they fall right over. It makes, let's say, I don't know, let's say your average, what do they call it, the Kayazi. Makes them a little easier to hit when they're knocked on their ass, let me tell you what. So the list is fast. The fact that the Creel Warriors down here can pray for +2 speed, or +2 movement, I guess. There's a +2 speed. Let's find out, because we can use the technology of the touch screen to go ahead and touch that one right there. And I'm probably violating several copyrights here by displaying this, but this is +2 to attack and damage. That's one of the prayers. +2 movement, which gets them up to 12 inches on the run. And that's what we like about these Creel Warriors, is that they can be a little bit on the fast side. So it's nice that it unpacks pretty nicely. So you got the Creel Warriors are very self-sufficient. They can head off in one direction with 1 Fell Caller, making them Mat 9, which is, I hear, pretty good. And then you could also have the Fenblades heading over there at Mat 9. You can make super Weapon Masters out of the Warders. We like that. 5 dice is better than 4, and significantly better than 3. So, just hit the microphone. That was awesome. So I would say that this is a list that I like. This is the current build that I will be taking with me to Warmachine Weekend when I play in the Old Man tournament. So giving away a little bit of tech. I know there's a couple people here who are probably going to be playing in that. A couple of brushheads that are possibly going to be in the Old Man tournament also. So this is a list that I like, and now you have it as well.
I'm shocked to see there are no Burrowers in that list.
You know, he makes Burrowers pretty cool, but you know, I'm not one for following the masses, so to speak. I know that Jay prefers to have some Burrowers in there, and they're pretty cool. To be honest, I pulled them up because they weren't painted at the time. Maybe they'll find their way back in. They will be in the bag, I promise you that. So hopefully I can get a little bit of the Iron Arena in with some of the brush heads who might be at Warmachine Weekend or anybody else. Maybe get into an 8-man scrambler. Perhaps those rascally burrowers will find their way in before the Old Man tournament hits on Saturday. You know what that is, John? Did you hear that sound?
I did.
Yep, that is the sound of an empty shot glass, and that cannot stand. So we are here at the 35-minute mark. So far, the stream hasn't crapped out. That's fairly impressive.
Yeah, we're debuting all new levels of technology, touch screens and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Did you follow? I didn't go too fast with that touch screen, did I, John?
No, I think I followed it.
Okay, I don't want to. You know, it's a you take a few risks here on Painting with MenothJohn by introducing technology such as the touch screen, the HD. That stands for high definition, John. Did you know that?
I did.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm going to find something. You are very highly technically adept, and I know that your wife is the tech support queen, and so I, on behalf of technology everywhere, and on behalf of the Pink Mountain King, hey, Ron. Hey, Ron. You know, it's that favorite. It's one of our favorite parts of the show right now, John. It's that little part of the show that we call. Well, we could call it putting on the blue glove, but we're going to call it flippity bloops.
Indeed. Putting on the blue glove is a different segment.
Yes, it is, and it's only found on Showtime After Dark.
All right, the first one's from the chat room from Dave Z98. He's wondering when the last time and when is the next time MenothJohn will play the faction he is named after.
Well, that's a really good question. Probably sometime after I get these damn trolls completely painted is what I'm thinking. I played a tournament probably about a month ago in Oshkosh where I chickened out and played Protectorate, and I still didn't win because I ended up against Wonky Kong's brother in the first round with a Jarl list that was pretty much nothing but a silver bullet for the BS I was playing. So yeah, I mean, it could happen. I mean, I still love my Menites. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if this is going to work. What I'm doing here on cam, I'm doing a dry brush with a ridiculously huge brush because I'm lazy, and I want to get done in a hurry. So we're going to see if this works out or not. But that was a non sequitur, by the way. Professional podcasting non sequitur number 433. But it could happen. I mean, I'm still in love with my girl Fiora and Sevi 1, the guy that actually runs the Judicator better than she does. And I still am all about my my Protectorate sensei, Mr. Owen Schindel, who shout out to Owen because he's been sick, and I mean not even just a little sick. He's been super sick, so he's got some kidney issues. So, but he was well enough to play a game of Warmachine Tactics with me, which was super sweet. But I digress. Huh. John, when do you think it'll be the next time that I actually pick up Protectorate?
I'm thinking sometime after the new year.
It feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could
happen.
happen.
Thinking maybe TempleCon sort of area.
Yeah.
Maybe something there. Or I'm sorry, I wouldn't call it TempleCon area. Maybe SmogCon sort of time.
You know, SmogCon's is going to be trolls. I can tell you that right now. It's going to be trolls because I have no interest in hauling a Judicator across the sea. However, since I don't have to bring a Mountain King, because like why would I? I will I'd definitely be playing the trolls. But maybe after that, you never can tell. This is actually turning out pretty good. I'm getting kind of the effect.
It's coming out pretty well.
I'm getting kind of the effect I was hoping for. That's kind of fun because it's going way the hell faster than I would have if I'd done it any other way. Flippity bloop.
All right. Well, Marth Fright asks, what alternate color scheme would you do a Protector of Menoth battle box in?
You know what would be kind of fun to see a Protector battle box done in? Would be the, you know that alternate scheme for Khador? The green scheme?
Uh-huh.
I bet you that would look pretty sharp on a Protectorate battle box.
Hey, it could. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, so, Marth, I'd love to see that. You know, Marth, for those of you who don't know who Marth is part of the group that kind of comes along with Tin Man for the old Steam Powered TV, and he is a fantastic guy from Germany, and so I know he's got some channels of his own. Martha, I encourage you to plug your stuff in the Painting with MenothJohn Facebook page as well at facebook.com/paintingwithmenothjohn.
I think I'd actually like to see something like that Sanctifier scheme they have, the black and gold with a little bit of red.
Yep.
That one's pretty sweet.
Yep. Black and gold is a classic combination, and you put it there with the red, and that just pops so nice.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Now this is going to be a contentious one, especially with some of my friends.
Okay.
Dave Monroe asks, Halloween, more ridiculous, overhyped nonsense designed to suck money out of parents? Discuss.
Yes.
Oh, Dave.
Hate that friggin' holiday. It's the dumbest thing ever. I hate pumpkins. Let me tell you about my hatred of pumpkins, because Belinda and I were talking about this weekend. I think I've got an irrational fear of pumpkins, and let me discuss why. It's because I've been married, and every time that Halloween came around, guess who got to pull the friggin' guts out of the pumpkin? Me. Never anybody else. I'm the dumb son of a bitch that has to haul out the ridiculously large knife and risk life and limb to get the stupid-ass garbage out of the inside of the pumpkin. Hate it. Hate Halloween with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns. You know what the only good thing about Halloween is? H.P. Lovecraft. Sometimes H.P. Lovecraft gets talked about, or people like Josh Salter do a reading of The Call of Cthulhu. That's awesome. But the rest of it can go die in a fire. What's your thoughts, John?
Well, I think obviously there's part of it's over-commercialized, but the people who love Halloween for the costumes and all really, really love it, and I can't fault them for that. I'm not a big costume guy because, with my particular frame, there's not a lot of costumes that look right.
Well,
form-fitting is not a John look, let's just say.
It's what's funny, John, is one of our sometimes we bring in Zosha to sit at the second chair here, and it's funny because Z posted something on Facebook earlier this week about how sexy traffic cop, sexy this, sexy that, and I suggested some alternatives like I don't know, sexy trash collector, and things like that. So yeah, yeah, screw that holiday.
I saw one for sexy Ebola nurse today.
Oh, that's really lack of taste.
Yeah, that's poor taste, and that's something coming from us.
That's yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
When we call bullshit on something, you know it's bad.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, I like inventive costumes. My wife's finishing up her Kaylee jumpsuit, which is looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. It's simple-ish, and everyone will know who she is, or everyone who's important will know who she is, and awesome.
I love Kaylee. She's like clearly my favorite character on that entire show.
Not Captain Tight Pants?
Nope. I'm a big fan of Kaylee because she's an engineer.
Fair enough. Are you also a fan of Scotty?
Oh, God, hello.
Or the engineer, technically.
Hello. Scotty is the ultimate engineer because he tells the captain one thing and then completely over delivers every time. He is absolutely every engineer I've ever met. Undercommit and over deliver. The engineer playbook.
Do you always multiply your repair estimates by a factor of 3?
That's right, buddy.
Of course, how else can I keep my reputation as a miracle worker? Um, all right. Next one. Let's see here. We'll save that one for last because it could go along.
Okay.
Let's see here. Cliff Hughes, favorite old school horror flick?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, I'll tell you the God's honest truth. I didn't watch a lot of horror flicks when I was younger, but I'll tell you what, Halloween, the original Halloween, is an amazing movie. In all actuality, Alien is a horror movie. It is a classic haunted house movie that has the people making some just god-awful decisions. Holy Christ. So I would say if you kept me in the deranged slasher mode, I would probably go with the first Halloween because Jamie Lee Curtis, rawr, and then also probably Alien if you let me broaden it out a little bit. In fact, I watched Alien just the other day because I needed a fix. That movie scared the shit out of me when I was younger. What about you, John?
Yeah, that's probably that would be mine. I'm not a big horror fan. Because it devolved into a bunch of jump scares, which is bullshit.
Yep.
You know, I like actually scary stuff. So Alien's definitely my favorite.
Yep, that is.
With a shout out to the occasional other, classic sort of, horror flick.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite movie by Ridley Scott? Is it Alien or is it Blade Runner or what is it?
Oh, it's definitely not Blade Runner. Here's a little secret. I think Blade Runner, while a good movie, is horribly overrated.
Oh, okay, well, that's fair. I mean, I'm not going to throw you underneath the bus for it. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you.
There's actually a YouTube video where a guy's like, I actually think, goes off on that. Ridley Scott. Oh, you know what? This is actually looking at his IMDb page. It's pretty easy and surprising that my favorite movie he did was actually Black Hawk Down.
You know what? I haven't seen Black Hawk Down.
It is. I very enjoy that movie. It's not, it's still inspired by what happened there. It's not exactly what happened there.
Yep. One of those guys passed away this week.
What's that?
One of the guys that actually took part in that particular military operation just passed away this last week at the age of 50, far too young.
Yes, they've actually, a lot of those guys have unfortunately passed away.
I suspect that Desert Storm was not necessarily the best place to get your shots. I think some of those guys may have had
even though that was in Africa, but
whatever.
But yeah, there's a couple of them have, and but I love that movie, and actually the book is very, very good also.
Cool.
In fact, one of the rare times I'll say it, I actually suggest the book over the movie, and I like the movie.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
All right. So next, let's see. Here we go. Moonfever 2003 asks, Calandra theme force seems legit, but the question is, Warders and/or Runeshapers, or go 11 Beasts?
Calandra's theme force. She just got a new one, didn't she?
It's the one in the quarter. It's not quite new, but it's newish.
I honestly haven't played around with Calandra a whole hell of a lot, to be very honest with you. I think that, I don't know, Calandra seems to impress me as one of those kind of casters that benefits an awful lot from, picking some high defensive stuff that you can put in there where having the ability to have Starcross do a lot of work for you is a good thing. So, what is her theme force, John? Or should I look that up on the powerful technology of the touch screen?
If I recall correctly, she gets a discount on all the elemental lights.
Okay.
And I would actually say lots of lights would be the way to do it. She also has Soothing Song, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And that's a good spell. If you can get enough lights in there, you can get some work out of it.
Yep. I can see that. And discounted elementals, especially, the Storm Troll's really good. Pyre Trolls are really good. And you pick the elementals that have guns and stuff like that, and where you're only putting 1 or 2 on them, and you can make that Fury, the soothing song, really get a lot of mileage for you. You're right, John. I think that's a good suggestion.
Yeah. And honestly, if you need to kill something heavy, on her feet turn, a slag troll with its animus or a pyro troll's animus can bat a bit outside his weight class.
Yeah, POW 14 Weapon Masters are probably a pretty good thing.
Yeah. But like Orsis Octavar says in the chat room, if I were to play her, I would probably go with more out of theme with like Nis Hunters and he said Boomhowlers with Rage Howler and Gators, just to get the most out of Starcross, because Starcross is some bullshit.
Yeah, Starcross is ridiculous. How long before Gators get that one?
Oh, never.
You don't think so?
No. It's the same reason why Rhett couldn't get Signs of Importance. It would just be completely over the top.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool.
one turn of Signs of Importance with Assyria is good enough. It would be just crazy.
Cool.
Crazy. All right. Next,
God, this mountain
Here we
can
go,
paint so fast.
Scott Hebel II. He says, "My hiatus is over. What do you believe are the essentials of any game or hobby room?"
So, I think any game or hobby room, if you take a good hard look, and I'm going to put down pink mountain troll here for a second. So let me smooth this paint out here for a second, and we'll take a tour of the Casa John lower level for a second. We're gonna here. Let me put this down. Okay, so all right, back here, you can see I have a Warmachine table set up, and that is your regulation 4x4 with a tan-colored felt on it so that dice actually roll on it and stuff like that. So I think that's an essential part of it. Another essential part of it is what you see back there in the corner. That is an IKEA glass display thing for your painted models, which keeps the dust off of them, and you can thank Belinda Librarian for doing that. By the way, you'll also notice on the camera, I need a shave. It's pretty bad right here. Back over here, you need... Oh God, I feel like here. This is really good camera. Back over there, you're going to see a couch. And I think that's important in a gamer area because you might want to play some Vigi games. And what you can't see back there is a television, and there is a PS3 and a PS4 hooked up to it, and that's good stuff. So I would say a good couch to sit on, a television with 1 or more game platforms on it, a 4x4 table over here for playing your favorite tabletop or board games. It's always good to have a board game table, shelf set up, and you can see a dice tower there from Tectonic Crafts up there at the top. That's the Rivet Wars one. And you can see a selection of board games over there. That's always good to have. And it turns out a fan is pretty OP too, because when you have a painting light as ridiculous as this is, it gets to be about 4,000 degrees while you're podcasting. So there you go. There you have it. A small tour of a potential gamer cave, if you will. I don't like to call them man caves because that means that somehow you've acquiesced your entire domicile to someone else. It should be. You should have a little bit of both. Everybody gets their thing. So keep it on the uptick and the positivity.
Absolutely.
What do you think, John?
I don't think I'm qualified to say anything because I live in an apartment.
Yeah.
I don't have I've got a table next to me where I do some painting and gaming. Almost everything I do otherwise is either at Marshall's house or at the store.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like to leave these things sitting in the sand a little bit longer than... So I'm going to put a different lid on it and put it away. Get some more room here on the table. There we go.
All right.
I'm considering buying this house that I'm living in. I'm thinking about... I'm thinking that it might be time just to buy it. I'm too set in this darn thing after all these years.
I know how that is.
Yep.
Right. Let's get some good ones here. Mike Bylock says, trying to decide on a faction for 2015. Right now it's a toss-up between Scorn, Menoth, and Legion. Which one should I choose?
That's a really good question. I'm going to answer it in two different ways. I'm going to say, first off, I'm going to say if you're a newer player, and this is like your second faction, it was Scorn, Menoth, and Legion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Legion, of the three that you've listed, Legion is probably the most straightforward to pick up, especially if you're making a transition from, let's say, Warmachine to Hordes, just because it's a lot of beasts. It's going to be relatively inexpensive for you to pick up, so you can really, there's only 2 lists available in the entire faction. You've got Veil 2 Theme Forests, and you've also got Saren. So take your pick, or both. You only need like 16 models for both lists, and so that's a good one to go with. Protectorate tends to be a faction that you're going to end up with having to probably invest a fair amount of money, and it is probably, along with Trolls, probably one of the top order of activation armies. If that's something you want to get good at, then by all means, if write back in and tell us if you'd like to do a list we like on Menoth or Protect. Okay. First off, it's frickin' Protectorate. It's not Menoth. Menoth is a god. Protectorate's a goddamn faction. All right. Let's get this shit straight on my own show. And then, but Scorn, I'll tell you what, Scorn's awfully sexy. I mean, Bronzebacks hit so hard. I would, if I was going to pick up Scorn, I think I'd pick up Tubby and just like all the Bronzebacks, and just fill a list with Bronzebacks and Pain Givers, and maybe a Poop Handler, just because I like to say Poop Handler. And I don't know what he'd do in the list, but it would be fun to say Poop Handler. But I guess that's the way I would go. Legion probably if it's your first Hordes faction, and then if it's a toss up, then I think Scorn right now with 20, and this will probably change, but in the current version of Steamroller, there are a few scenarios that make it a little rough on Scorn to get into the zones, given their speeds on things. So, and the bugs are game changers. If you still like Scorn after you pick one of these other factions, wait till the bugs come out, because the bugs are going to be game changers, and you're going to want some of them bugs. I sound like Duck Dynasty when I talk like that. What do you think,
Mine's
John?
to be a bit simpler. I'm going to say choose whichever one you like the models for more, because you have to like the models. If you don't like the models, you're not going to play it.
Yep. I like this guy. I like Pink Mountain King. He doesn't like me much. That's because you talk shit about me. Anyway.
All right. Well, if you guys saw me looking down, it's because I was looking up the rules implication of something Dan White asked us.
Okay.
I did a two-parter. One is Trevor leaving Scorn. Is Scorn really underpowered, or is Trevor not utilizing them to full effectiveness?
Oh, boy. Do you want me to answer that one first, or do you want to finish the question?
We'll do this part first.
Okay.
I'll hit it first. And,
Yeah.
We're not going to shots fired at Trevor. I like
No.
Trevor. He needs a change.
Yep.
He's stuck in a rut and needs a change. It happens to anyone. I don't think he's underutilizing them, or if he is, it's because he's stuck in a rut. That's the core thing. So, there you go. What do you think, John?
I completely agree. I wish for Trevor that he will pick something that will make him happy, because I know that right now Scorn does not make him happy, and he's such a good guy, and I just want him to have success. And I think that the chase that he's had this year to get to the Warmachine Weekend Invitational has probably hurt his love of the game a little bit, and I know it's caused him a lot of pain and agony personally wise. But so I think that I don't think Scorn's underpowered. I think that he just needs to find his muse again and maybe innovate a little bit. He's come up with great lists, and I think that this is just a year that is particularly difficult on Scorn. Last year it was Trolls. Maybe year, maybe next year there'll be some difference in the packet that will unlock something new for Scorn. I mean, other people are doing Scorn and are maybe there's just that little ounce of mental block right now. But I wish him all the luck in the world. He's a hell of a guy. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better human being than him. Cripes. There just isn't one in the Warmachine community. It's as good as it gets with Trev. So
I agree.
there you go.
The second part is also Gator Battle Engine hiding in Barnabas' swamps. Legit?
Seems to be a
And
fluff
that's
versus
what I
wolf.
was looking up, and no, actually, it's not legit because the battle engine's not amphibious, so it cannot hide in the swamp pits.
Wow, that's tech. We just gave away tech on
Yeah.
the show. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Oh, or anti-tech in this case. It doesn't work, so don't try it. That way, you're not surprised when you're like, "Oh crap."
I'm just looking forward to seeing one of those Gator battle engines against a Meat Mountain, because I don't think the Meat Mountain gives three shits about that thing.
Not really. Well, we've talked a lot about it. You want to hear more about that? Go back to me and Will's discussion about it in the last episode. That's pretty much covers my opinion of it.
I was drinking a fair amount during that episode. I should probably go back and listen to it myself. Anyway,
It was good.
flippity
And then,
bloop,
oh, good.
flippity bloop.
All right. Sassy Greyjoy says, best way to separate the whip from a Statixis Raider leader's body. Lord, try to say that 3 times fast.
First off, it's a statistic raider. Let's get this right. It is the best. Okay, it's the same. Like any of these silly models. I'm actually not painting very much right now because the next thing I have to do on this crazy ass model requires this stupid mic not to be jammed in my face, and it's a little bit hard because I need to get up close to it, and it's gonna be bad television if I start doing it. So maybe I'll just have him do a little jig here. Anyway, the question that was asked was about the statistic raider. What you want to do is you want to very gently bend the whip, and it takes a strong constitution. And Sassy, I'm asking you, you gotta channel all of your Greyjoy powers on this one to be brave. I'm asking you to be brave through the internet right now, and just bend it a little bit, and then employ the green stuff glue green stuff technique that we've talked about here on Painting with MenothJohn before, as that will give that joint a little extra bite, and it'll hold up better. So, what are your thoughts there, John?
Well, I actually wouldn't mess with it, honestly, unless you absolutely have to. And if you're going to mess with it, I would actually try and find a substitute for it and just get rid of it entirely and get a different substitute. But if you have to bend it, like you said, do it carefully, and don't keep bending it in the same point. Bend it at different points. Bend it a little bit at one point, move over it, bend it a little bit. That way you're not weakening any one point of it too much.
Yeah, I mean, white metal doesn't tend to like being bent in the same place much more than like 10 or 15 degrees. You've got to do it in little bite-sized pieces in order for it to work out for you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So there we go. Corey Stockstill asks, why hasn't an engineer created a standard handbook of armies and combos yet? Sincerely, an engineer.
Maybe you're that kind of engineer, man. And I wish you all the best luck with that. So I'm the kind of engineer that tells other people what to do. So I am going to use all my powers of leadership to empower you to do that project. There you go. That's spoken like a true manager. Boom.
I'm not an engineer, though. I was going to go to engineering school, just couldn't afford it. And honestly,
and you know what?
I wasn't into that.
You would have made a fine one, buddy. And I can tell that because of your mastery of the mercenaries. Nothing that an engineer likes more than getting paid, and nothing likes getting paid more than a mercenary. So, by the way, speaking of engineering, since we mentioned engineering, that's because it's kind of what I do for a living. Anybody that's going to lock and load that's a brush head, let me know. I'm thinking I'm going to probably sponsor some kind of a tour of the new Starbucks roastery and tasting room that I'm starting up right now. It's all reserves. It's getting a coffee there ain't going to be cheap. I'm going to warn you right now, but it is some damn good coffee, and hopefully I can work. I'm good buddies with the plant manager and stuff, so hopefully I can work out a little behind the scenes kind of a thing. So we'll see about the little painting with MenothJohn side adventure, because I'm thinking about going to Lock and Load this year, just because I'm always in damn Seattle anyway. I might as well lump a trip in on top of everything else. So.
All right. Well, let's get a couple more. We only got a couple more from today. We'll try and get as many as we can done, so we're not adding to the backlog.
Are we in desperate need of another special, John?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do a special then. We can do one of those.
Yeah.
When should we do it?
Maybe not this upcoming week. It's going to be probably the last week of me being super crazy busy at work. And
Okay.
Then should calm down for a couple weeks.
Maybe after Warmachine Weekend?
Yeah.
That'd be good.
'Cause we can start off with talking about that and then do like a long bit afterwards of flippity bloops.
Hey, there you go. Maybe we can have Zosha Starscream on too. That'd be super fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get a couple more of these. Mike Bond. Let's start for this troll. What is best in life, Kraken or still hot, fresh cinnamon toast crunch?
Man, I'm going to tell you what. He goes right for the jugular.
He does.
Okay, I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say Kraken, and here's why. Because so many of my friends have lost their jobs at General Mills recently, as their answer to "we missed our numbers" is fire all the peoples. So I'm going to say that I will not support the Cinnamon Toast Crunch because of what they've done to my friends. But I will say that the Kraken is what is best in life.
I will also go with Kraken because I've never had super hot, fresh Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And the one time I had not super hot, fresh Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I hated it because it wasn't Golden Grams.
And you know what? Golden Grams is completely OP. I mean, that's the thing. People love their Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but man, I'm going to tell you what. The Golden Grams, man, it's friggin' good.
When they
man.
stopped having that at work, I was legitimately sad. I'm not usually sad over a free food choice, but I'm like, oh, no Golden Grams. I have to get like Raisin Bran and shit.
Oh God, Jesus! Come on,
like
not while I'm trying to draw a straight line.
Sorry. All right, and then his serious one is: what part of Warmachine Weekend are you looking forward to the most?
I am looking forward to handing my dice over to Lich Lord Charles, my sobriety attachment, and say, "Get me some double sixes." It's going to be amazing. I'm going to be hanging out at a con with my boy, and I have to tell you, that is going to be my favorite part. Once you take that out of the picture, Clusterfuckapalooza with Zosha Starscream as my second chair is going to be amazing. So really looking forward to Zosha joining me out there, and we know that Trevi the Great got his ticket finally. Did anybody show up at that tournament, by the way?
Oh yeah, they had a bunch of people there.
Yeah. Nobody good, obviously.
I'd given a thought going up there, but it was a bit of a drive, and it had to be very early in the morning.
I just like giving Trevor shit.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, folks, when I give Trevor a hard time, please don't interpret that as anything other than love, because the guy's a legit player and a pretty nice guy on top of everything else. I'm getting sick of painting. I have to tell you, I'm getting a little sick of it.
Uh-oh.
So I think I'm probably going to call Pink Mountain Troll done for now. What do you mean you're done with me? Look at you. You got like 20 friggin' hours to paint on me, and my voice changed. That's no good. So there. We've seen enough of that.
The more pink you add, the more his voice changes. It happens. It's physics.
It's a terrible thing. But I think before I go, while I'm mixing the show up tonight and putting it up on the internet, I'll probably wash his skin purple because this blue is hurting my eyes. But anyway,
a purple wash on it might actually. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, all my trolls are purple, so I've received some very nice comments on my trolls, and I appreciate everyone that says kind words to my painting because it's they are turning out pretty slick, and I'm pretty happy with it. I can't wait for D Vader, Chris Sur. Oh God, I F up his last name all the time. Sure, the dentist, the guy that wins Warmachine Weekend's painting contest every year.
Okay.
I can't wait for him to take he's a brushhead and he likes to watch the show, so hopefully he's getting a chance to watch the show tonight. And hats off. And I'm going to dedicate the third half hour of the show, even though it's 10 minutes into it, to Chris and to everybody that's going to be at Warmachine Weekend. Hey, Ron.
Ron.
And I'm pointing at you, Sassy Greyjoy. Adepticon. Make it happen.
All right. Well, let me get 2 more of these flippity bloops done. Then we'll only have one long one that would take a while to answer from Wonky Kong.
Okay, we'll do a special.
Yep. But Boiling Point Bob asks, how on earth do I cope with Fix to Palloc with my boys in blue?
I'm assuming Signar.
Yep. I'm assuming also.
I'll tell you, the armor cracking part of Signar is why I stopped playing him there for a long time. I would say probably your best bet would be a Siege. I think that he deals with a fist pretty good. You know, I'll be honest with you, Boiling Point. Tech is not my long suit, especially when it comes to a faction I barely play. So I would say listen to Chain Attack and maybe throw a question. Chain Attack J, at Chain Attack J, is always looking for questions to do for his blog that he does on Muse. And that might be an amazing question. I bet you the J would... Hang on for a second. I got to inflate my glove. There. I think that Jay would look forward to answering a question like that. Now you can all look at it wave in the distance here. And Jay's always looking for a good question, and that is a very good question, and I bet you it'd be one that he'd be willing to answer. So throw that over there to at Chain Attack J, and I'll bet you he writes an article for Muse on Minis on it. So there you go.
I agree. That's the best way, because Fist of Palloc, it's interesting not to crack.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you, the best luck I've ever had against it was a game I played against Carnage in Madison. I was playing I was playing Retribution, and I started it all on fire with the Stormfall Archers, and that was the best thing I had against it. And then I had Ossian against it, and I removed the Gladiator to take Rush off the table. And this was when Carnage was experimenting with a non-Tibbers version of that list. And the best way to handle it is to catch him in a bad experiment. Because when he's got his A game, he's a lot of work, that Carnage guy. Let me tell you what. So... I
think I covered a little bit of Mercenary Thoughts, which are somewhat applicable to Signar maybe 6 months ago when I did the team tournament wrap-up from Titan Games I went to.
Sure.
I played against Stahalik there.
Sure. It's you're gonna see it. I mean, it's all the rage right now. So getting an answer for it's a big deal.
And then last one real quick is Doug Griggs. He's like, name a good caster to start scoring with. And he says that we rock. Thank you.
Xerxes too.
I would actually start with the battle box.
That's a great place too.
Morgul has a lot of tools. He's gonna teach you a lot of things. He's gonna teach you how to use a caster that can do work. He's gonna teach you how to use a caster that does work who's kind of squishy. So learning how not to die is really good.
Yep.
And Low Fury. I mean, if you start with everything like that, all those tools as you get to learn them, you'll be better when you get someone who's got different tools. You'll be like, oh, he's got more fury, so I can do more stuff.
Yep.
You'll definitely learn how to use the Beastmasters to their best, or Beast Handlers to their best effect too.
Yep, that sounds great. I mean, that's once again, John. When it comes to actual advice that's worth listening to, you're way ahead of the curve on me.
Well, I like a challenge. I like to think about stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. And you are demonstrably better at this game than I am. So, good on you, brother. Do we have any more, or are we going to call it good for the flippity bloops?
We're going to call it good. The last one we have is one that will probably take a long time, and actually may want to wait until after our spell draft so I can speak competently about it, since it's Wonky Kong asking opinions about spell draft.
Yep, I think he came in second place on a spell draft that was held in Milwaukee yesterday. There were 3 individual events between Madison. I think it was Madison, Milwaukee. No, yeah, Madison, Milwaukee, and Oshkosh all had different events, all within an hour of each other, and I went to none of them.
He was playing Madhammer, who is near and dear to my heart. So.
Yep. That guy's legit. Wonky Kong can play a mean game of Warmachine. There's no two ways about that. So, does that bring us to our media portion of the show?
It does.
I should probably pour another shot of Kraken. It's only like my third or fourth. Why not? I'm not
Look at the
slurring.
left, the barely visible glass with the Admiral Akbar koozie on it.
You know, folks, if you want to buy these goddamn shot glasses, you still can. They're still available. I'm taking them to Warmachine Weekend with me, and God, I hope I get rid of them. For the European audience, because I know it's fun, it's great. I love my European audience because they seem to like me better than the Americans do, and I'm not sure what that's all about. Maybe I've got a Monty Python-esque kind of humor about me. I'm not sure, but I would recommend, if I was a European listener, I would throw me an email at pwmenothjohn@gmail.com and reserve one of these guys, because I don't know how many I'm going to have left, and I'm going to try and sell as many of them as possible at Warmachine Weekend, and I'm giving 16 of them away for the Old Man Tournament. So I would say get out if you are going to SmogCon and you want a Painting with MenothJohn shot glass. Throw me a line at pwmenothjohn and I'll put one in my bag for you. Can't guarantee how many I'm going to have. So on behalf of the media section and all my European listeners, hey, Ron.
Ron.
By the way, I'm including China, India, Russia, Australia, anywhere in Africa as also being a European listener, because I don't have time to break down the rest of the world. If you're in South America, I'll break you out separately because I've been to Argentina, but I haven't been to most of the other places. I'd like to go to Australia and New Zealand, though, because I have because hobbits are cute.
I don't think they have a lot of hobbits, actually. I think
What?
that's just the movie.
What? But hobbits are real, because otherwise how did they stop Sauron?
Right, so media section.
Oh, God. Yeah, please, quick. Okay, so we have the Painting with MenothJohn movie club coming next week, and
We do.
that is Braveheart.
Yep.
Braveheart is not about heart surgery. It is about the freedom of England from Australia, I believe. Wasn't that the case?
Something like that.
England sued for their freedom from Australia, and they won it because a guy wore a dress. So we're gonna watch it. Should be interesting. And it is the Painting with MenothJohn movie club for next week. By the way, John, my favorite part of Turkish Star Wars is when the guy punches his fist through the Ewok that is pink, and then karate chops him literally in half.
Oh, how far in did you get?
The whole way.
Oh my God.
It's a beautiful
You're a
thing.
brave man.
It's a beautiful thing. It's part of my life I'll never get back.
What was it, the whistle that drives women mad and summons skeleton horses?
That too. It's one nugget after another on that show. It's
Oh, my
it's
God.
the guy in, I don't even know what that helmet is that he's wearing, with a pair of stereo headphones like these on his head, while random scenes from Star Wars are taking place behind him that have nothing to do. I don't even understand. That movie with subtitles would be amazing.
Oh my God, I'm not sure I could take it.
Oh my
I
God.
think it would have to involve lots of alcohol.
Anyhow, you, however, saw a movie that probably did not require a lot of alcohol.
No, and it's a good thing because they don't let me take it in the movie theater.
What was that movie, John?
I saw Fury, the new World War II movie starring Brad Pitt.
Ah, Brad Pitt. Not the same as the guy that was in Edward Scissorhands. That's a different actor.
Johnny Depp?
Yeah, that guy.
Yes.
It's different.
Yes. It also has Shia LaBeouf in it, and, hey, spoiler alert, apparently he can act.
Shut up. You mean he was being held back by a script?
Apparently he was. He did
That's-
pretty good in this.
That's pretty amazing.
So, Fury is a story of a tank crew, and the tank's named Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a good name for a tank. They've been together for a long time, since Africa, and then at the beginning of the movie, they've just lost their assistant driver.
Okay.
So they grab some fresh guy. I mean, it's 1945, like April 1945, so the war is coming to an end,
Yeah.
but people still die, unfortunately.
Yep.
And that's sort of the theme of this movie. You know, the war is coming to an end, but people are still dying.
Makes sense. Kind of the deaths themselves lose their meaning at that point because the outcome is already well known.
Yeah, I mean, to everyone, it's like, hey, look, this is a foregone conclusion. Why are they still fighting? And, you know, someone asks that, and, you know, Brad Pitt's like, would you give up? And no,
Yeah.
we wouldn't.
Yep.
Not for our country. So
That's cool.
it's a good movie. It does have some of the least likable protagonists I've ever seen in a movie.
Really?
Because, well, this movie is very real. It's meant to show you the horrors of war, the horrors of what happened over there, and how not every soldier was, you know, a hero. You know, they did heroic things, they did their duty, but they weren't all heroes aside from that. They were some despicable people here and there.
Yep. Captain America is a fictional hero, as it turns out.
Yep. But it was very good. I liked it. Apparently it's more than 2 hours long, but didn't feel like it. So it's paced pretty well, even though there's some critics have said that one of the scenes early on is kind of slow, but I think it's very important for the growth of the movie to see that. To see the dichotomy in some of the characters, see how they respond to things. And in some cases, just how despicable some of them are.
So,
But at the end of the movie, end of the day, it's your standard World War II, and you know, at the end of the day, they have to hold out against greater forces, or someone's going to get overrun. I'm not going to spoil everything, and that's where it is. I mean, it's pretty good. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Very realistic action. The acting was all pretty top notch. Cinematography was great. It was a great movie. It's definitely what they like to call Oscar bait coming out this late.
are we looking at perhaps the next Saving Private Ryan out of this one? The next great World War II movie that comes from that genre?
It is. It's probably not as good as Saving Private Ryan,
Okay.
and not quite as good as Band of Brothers, but it's not trying to be exactly as good, because it's always going to seem worse because the characters are more... They feel a little more real at points. I mean, to a point they're almost kind of cliched in some ways in their despicableness, but it makes them feel more real, like they're actually people. You know, they've been fighting for years and years and years, and they become somewhat jaded and coped how they can cope.
Well, and that's an important story to tell, though, too. War creates more casualties than those people who go home in a body bag.
Yeah, I mean, you can't all be Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers, where at least Saving Private Ryan, almost everyone in that was good, upstanding, fairly heroic.
Yep.
You know, and those movies need to be made too.
Yep.
That's what makes it great, because it's more enjoyable to watch. It doesn't make you think about it
Yeah,
as much.
I understand.
This makes you think about it more, but it's still a good movie. I'm gonna give it half a shot of Kraken, because for a more than 2 hour long war movie to not feel like it's that long, that's an impressive feat.
Yeah, you know, Belinda Librarian and I were talking about this one the other day, and it's, you know, I think that her feeling was that she wanted to watch it on the small screen because she saw Saving Private Ryan on a small screen, and she felt like it detached her enough that it was more emotionally tolerable for her. And so I'm going to see it next week when I'm in Seattle. I'm staying downtown, not too far away from from where I'm working, actually. And there's a movie theater just down the street from me, and I think I'll probably go see it. Everyone I've talked to so far has been just raving about this movie, and I love me a World War II flick. My old man was in World War II. He was not, in the direct action. He drove a mail truck in Alaska, and you know what? People in Alaska need their goddamn mail, as it turns out. My uncle on my mother's side was actually in the Battle of the Bulge. Now that's for realsy battling right there.
Yeah, that's for reals.
So I have a connection because of the age of my mom and dad. I'm effing old. And then you throw on top of it that my mom and dad decided to have me when my mom was 40 and my dad was 47. So you throw all that into the mix, and
Yeah.
I got some Depression era parents on my side. So I do love me some World War II, and this looks like the best thing that's come down the pipe in a hell of a long time in that genre.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool.
I don't have the same connection. Unfortunately, my grandfather died before I had a chance to ask him about his experiences in World War II.
Yeah.
Before I was old enough to actually care and not be a little punk about it.
No, it's hard. I mean, those people live through some very real stuff. I mean, stuff that
Yeah.
folks like you and I have not had to deal with so much. Now, some of our peers. I mean, my nephew, who I'm trying to desperately to get into this game. I'm gonna try again on Thanksgiving to get him into this game. He was in Iraq for quite some time and running defensive convoys and stuff like that. But hats off to the any of the military folks that are out there that are watching the show. This one's for you. You guys sacrifice so much for us to be able to enjoy our freedoms, and frankly, and for even our listeners across the world, think what you want about the United States. We do, for the most part, we try to do the right thing. So here's to the U.S. Armed Forces. Hey, Ron.
Ron.
All right, we got serious there for a second. We got to stop that.
We did.
Um,
Yeah. What anything this week?
I did. I played a couple of games of Warmachine Tactics.
Oh, cool.
And I played one against Stuart Liming, otherwise known as Stu-Nami, from the greater St. Louis area. And I played most of the game with Owen the Cooler Schindel, one of our favorite brush heads here on the show. And got all the way through the game with Stuart. And before I realized what the hell I was doing with OBS on the new rig, we haven't crapped out the stream yet, thank God. And it's based on that Warmachine Tactics stream that I was able to figure out how to make this work. So, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to do another stream because I want the brushheads to be able to see how beautiful this game is. It's beautiful. It's fun. They're doing a great job with it. Compared to where they were when I first did my first few videos of that game, it's not even the same game anymore. Stu-Nami played a Sturgis list with a couple of defenders and some gun mages and some storm guard, and I played Sevi 1 with Incinerator spam, with a Repenter, a Vanquisher, and a Revenger. So if you don't know all the names per se, essentially my loadout, the Incinerators are the most reviled unit in all of Protectorate. Nobody likes the Incinerators. This game, they're freaking legit. They hit like a freight train, and they crit like nobody's business. And they are, they're amazing. They're slow, just like the real Incinerators are, but they hit real hard. And I ended up winning the game against Stu-Nami with Sevi 1 going man mode against Sturgis. I'd had some lucky Incinerator hits. I had gotten him down to 5 wounds, and I had Sevi on full camp walk over and punch him a couple of times, and lo and behold, good old Sevi 1 with the power of the Blood of Viagra, even though that's not on his spell card, so to speak. He came through. So, and then Owen and I were having an amazing game. He was playing Kador with a couple of Decimators, and we had his game locked up on him. And we ended up, it's a little buggy yet, but boy is it fun, guys. Give it a chance. It's coming along. There's still a little ways away from being completely right. I'll try to post up some videos of me playing the game next time I'm back in town, of course. But it's super fun with the hotkeys that they've put in there. It makes running the game so much faster and so much easier. So get out there and give it a try. They actually have done a good job with it, and I think that Hordes Tactics, which inevitably will happen, is going to be probably even a better game. I think, John.
Cool.
And I can't wait to play me some Trolls.
Eventually, when I'm done with some Borderlands 2, but...
Yeah. That's consumed your life, hasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't gotten much other stuff done from that. I still go to the game store, but at home I haven't gotten much else done.
Where are you in the game right now?
I just killed Wilhelm.
Okay.
And all that crazy stuff and got back to Sanctuary, so...
Cool. Super fun. You've got so much cool stuff ahead of you. The DLC...
Yeah, it's cool, and the story's good enough, you know? It doesn't have to be amazing. It's enough that I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
The DLC is terrific. Make sure you get Tiny Tina's Assault on the Castle.
It came with all of them. The only thing I don't have is like the most recent one didn't come in the Game of the Year edition. Cool. But I've got like 5 or 6 DLCs in there. There's plenty ahead for me for that.
Yep. I have not gotten the pre-sequel yet on Steam. I'm probably going to get... I'm playing League of Legends now, and I know that Will Pagani hates it, and Will's going to hate me for liking it, but I like it. It's fun, and it's simple, and it's kind of... I don't know, it's a lot simpler than Dota 2, and it's... I don't know, I enjoy it. It's fun. I'm having a good time with League of Legends.
Cool.
So... what time is it? Holy crap, we're on time.
We are on time. It's amazing.
How did that happen? Holy Christopher.
Miracles happen occasionally.
Now I got to figure out how to make this ending happen. So let's see if this works.
And for any of you guys following our sister podcast, The Krug, they just released a episode with Carlos or Bostria from Corvus Belli interview when they brought him out to Feast of Blades. They just released that, and that should be a good listen.
Yeah, absolutely. We highly support the Krug. We highly support Enduro Joe. Even though the effer dropped off the Facebook and I thought he was dissing me. But he just dropped off Facebook. It wasn't just me. He dropped off of all the Facebook. But, give Operation Ice Storm as a thing now. It's probably the best new 2-player box set I can even think of.
It's legit. The buildings are pretty cool. The best part about them is the fact that you can just put the boxes from their box sets in the buildings to give them more support. It's super sweet.
Yep. Need to talk to my older boy a little bit about possibly, I ruined him for Warmachine and Hordes. So maybe I can talk him into Infinity. We'll see. Because that's my only chance, because nobody else wants to play it around here. But
fair enough.
So here we go, folks. On behalf of Mr. John Spencer, I'm MenothJohn. I hope you enjoyed all the new technologies. All of the new technologies of the touch screen. I like to call it touch screen because the screen is very important to that touch. And I want to welcome you all back here next week when John Spencer and I bring you the Painting with MenothJohn Sunday Night Extravaganza. We will talk to you in 7 days. Good night, folks.